Wow, again, it's been a minute since I've been live. Also, my eye has a twitch today. I have been almost burning myself out, and therefore is manifesting as an eye twitch. Hey y'all, happy Saturday. I have been doing a lot today that takes care of my house, takes care of errands, and I finished and had some free time. So I wanted to hop on, see if I can be of service to anyone, if anyone has questions. I'm sure a topic will come to ramble on, give you some information, but feel free to ask questions at any time. Am I engaged now? Yeah, I've been engaged. Yeah. Thank you so much. I am engaged to Sebastian. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So I just posted on my stories. I'm gonna refer you over there. But there is a class being held by, I'm not associated with this class at all, but it just came through my email today. There's a class being held by one of the owners and primary coaches, practitioners, instructors of the Ann Wigmore Natural Health Institute in Puerto Rico. Her name is Carolyn. The institute is owned by Carolyn and Lalita, and Carolyn is the main practitioner that hosts all training courses and facilitates retreats. And 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago, I went over to Puerto Rico and did a retreat and a study with them. And so Carolyn is hosting a class specifically about how to make your own fermented foods at home. Your home fermented foods will restore the gut microbiome. Fermented foods that are in stores, unless you know that they're from a good source, unless you know that they are unless you know that they are not using a ton of salt as a preservative, or just fermented and only fermented in vinegar, right? Sometimes sauerkraut is just soaking in vinegar and they call that sauerkraut. That's not really what it is. We want living probiotics. We want living fermented food. So Carolyn is teaching how to do that. I'm pretty sure it's on next Friday, June 27th, 4 p.m. Puerto Rico time, maybe, or 4 p.m. Eastern time. Puerto Rico is only an hour different from Eastern, so I'll tell you it's around 4 p.m. Eastern time. I put the link in my stories. Like I said, I just registered as an attendee. I am not associated, not facilitating, not doing anything. I just talk about Ann Wigmore all the time. Ann Wigmore is a pillar of the natural health books that I've gone through. Her Rejuvelac fermented food gut protocol is a pillar to introduce to clients who need to restore the gut microbiome after a period of cleansing. We always can follow up a period of cleansing with a gut restoration protocol and reintroduce good bacteria to the gut after the period of cleansing. Okay? I also learned this with Dr. Christopher. There's a book by Dr. Christopher called Herbal. Obviously now we're just spitting, so I might be talking fast, but I'll repeat myself. Just tell me to slow down. You're getting knowledge about gut restoration microbiome. You're getting knowledge about resources. You're getting knowledge about when is the appropriate time to focus on restoring the bacterial balance of the gut microbiome. So let's dive in. So Ann Wigmore, right? That's one of the pillars who teaches about fermented foods, home ferments, making sauerkraut, Rejuvelac. I have a reel about what Rejuvelac is, but there's also a book called Herbal Home Healthcare by Dr. Christopher. And I'm actually running someone through a Candida protocol right now, specifically one of the protocols that Dr. Christopher has used for ages. Dr. Christopher is like one of the OG teachers, right? We have like Bernard Jensen as one of the OG teachers, and we got Dr. Christopher as one of the OG teachers. So I'm running someone through a Candida protocol, and Dr. Christopher is explaining how, after this period, 20 days of cleansing the gut, killing off fungus, killing off bacteria, killing off parasites, That's when, after the 20 days of cleansing and sealing the gut lining with things like slippery elm, marshmallow root, certain herbs that are sealing the bowel wall, you cleanse, you seal the bowel wall, and then you high dose good quality living bacteria, right? That naturally occurring probiotic bacteria, you restore it to the gut after you've cleared out the junk, after you've killed off the bad bacteria, after you've killed off the fungus, after you've killed off the parasites, after you've secured the gut lining, sealed it up from leaky gut, which most of us all have leaky gut. We have leaky gut if we have been on birth control before, if we have a history of medication or present use of medication, synthetic supplements, chemical tap water, meat consumption. If we've never parasite cleansed, we likely have leaky gut. Do you know why that is? Because parasites latch onto the gut lining and they start to break it down. They eat away at the gut lining. If we have any sort of symptoms like IBS, colitis, Crohn's, fibroids, men with prostate issues, all of this shows a breakdown of the gut lining. All of those symptoms or conditions that I just rattled off, the root cause is a breakdown of the gut lining. Now, the reason why reproductive conditions are related so closely to a breakdown of the gut lining is because we have our intestines, right? Our intestines, if we're not eliminating waste efficiently out of our bowels, having normal bowel movements, our intestines are holding on to this waste, and it causes inflammation. Inflammation over time will degrade the gut lining, will slowly break down and destroy the cells of the gut lining. Parasites will break down the gut lining. Bad bacteria will break down and eat away at the gut lining. So all of these things are chipping away at the gut lining. And instead of being a super rock solid gut lining, it kind of goes like this, right? And you start to get spaces and gaps between the cells of the gut lining. These are called the tight junctions. When they're super solid, the cells of the gut are super solid, your tight junctions are intact. But when we have chemicals, bacteria, inflammation, parasitic action, fungal action, these break down the tight junctions of the gut lining, and now we have leaky gut. So the reason why this is so closely related to reproductive conditions, endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, infertility, men who have prostate issues, is because our intestinal tract is so close to our reproductive tract. In women, we have our uterus is right there with our intestines, our ovaries are right there with our intestines. For men, the prostate, right? We have this closeness, this adjacent reproductive organ to the intestines. And whenever we're experiencing leaky gut or a breakdown of the gut lining to any degree, and we have accumulated waste in the gut lining, what happens? That accumulated waste in the gut lining starts to seep through. That accumulated waste in the gut starts to seep through the broken gut lining. It gets reabsorbed into the body. Where is the first stop? The first stop that this reabsorbed waste hits? Our reproductive system, because it's right there. Okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Honestly, I don't want to talk that loud because usually I'm always screaming. So if you guys can put your volume up on your phone, that would be awesome. Let me know how I sound. Because that was some information, you know? So it's helpful. It's helpful to know how to make your own ferments at home. It's helpful to know how to restore the gut lining on your own without external supplements, you know? Unfortunately, a big thing that a lot of people come across is the realm of functional medicine, okay? If anyone's ever been to a functional medicine doctor, please put a 1 in the chat. Please put a 1 in the chat if you have. Now, I'm not here to bash on functional medicine doctors. However, I notice a trend. All I'm doing is observing. most of the people that come from functional medicine have been placed on a long laundry list of supplements. They're pretty much at $500 a month on supplements, $1,000 a month on supplements, and it's endless. Every single month is a new round of supplements. Maybe the functional medicine doc will change it once in a while, but they're continuously on supplements. And unfortunately, most of those supplements are synthetic. For example, one of the major supplements that people are put on to restore the gut lining in functional medicine is L-glutamine. L-glutamine is an amino acid that helps the body build up the structural components, right? L-glutamine helps you build up your tissues. So in theory, you're put on this to help build up the intestinal wall. Now, the reason why this doesn't work is because in order to restore the gut lining, it's not an issue of the fact that the body doesn't have the building blocks to do so. The issue is that the body has an internal environment in the gut that is continuously breaking it down. And how does it make sense that we're introducing building blocks with somebody in there has a sledgehammer consistently, right? You can't. You need to get rid of the organisms, get rid of the inflammation, get rid of the root cause that is causing the breakdown. Okay? Just because L-glutamine is not a pharmaceutical medication doesn't mean that it's a root cause approach to restoring the gut. So that's just one example. That's one example. So to circle back, that workshop, you can check out my stories. That was one of the best retreats I've ever been on. There's three retreats that have a similar style of cleansing and healing. There is the Ann Wigmore Natural Health Institute in Puerto Rico. There is the Body Mind Retreat Center in Ithaca, New York. And there is the Hippocrates Health Institute over the other coast of Florida, East Coast Florida, a little above Fort Lauderdale. I don't remember the exact town it's in. So the approach of all these three retreat centers is how we should be healing the body. Social media puts a lot of trends out there for you guys, puts a lot of fruit cleansing trends out there, puts a lot of carnivore diet trends out there. A lot of trends come from social media. However, when you really look at the centers that are working successfully, having chronic conditions of people coming to them, people who are going through high-level cancers who finally realize natural medicine is the way, end up at retreat centers like this. And the protocol at all three of these top retreat centers in the United States is high amounts of greens, whether it's buckwheat sprouts, sunflower sprouts, herbs, avocado, zucchini, fermented foods, homemade sauerkrauts, homemade Rejuvilac. Oh, wheatgrass. How could I forget about wheatgrass? Wheatgrass is a pillar at all these three places. Energy soup is a pillar at all these three places. And most people don't go through a period of time of little to no sugar. Okay? This is something that was an incredible challenge when I was at the Ann Wigmore Retreat Center in Puerto Rico, because there is very minimal fruit. And I was actually thank you, Hippocrates is in West Palm Beach. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I went to the Ann Wigmore Retreat Center at a period of my education, my studying, where I was hearing and being taught all fruit diets. Fruit is the highest power of cleansing. Fruits. So I was at the Ann Wigmore Health Institute hearing them talk about how sugar works in the body, and I was like, there's no way. I was taught that sugar is the highest healing food, and that it's a misconception that it aggravates the body. But in practice, I have seen clients who have come off all fruit diets and their yeast infections have exploded. Their yeast on their tongue have exploded, right? cancer healing protocols all over the original books, right? The original books. I have an entire ultimate reading list that I've given out for free of all the natural health books, but some of the authors are Andreas Moritz, Bernard Jensen, Anne Wigmore, Farida Sharon, Henry Lindlar, Dr. Christopher, Michio Kushi. That's at least 7 that I named right there. None of them make a cancer protocol using high fruit or high natural sugar diets. None of them do a cancer protocol like that. So, if I'm going to listen to the ones who came before me, everybody claims they want to listen to the ancestors. If I want to listen to the ones who came before me, we should listen to what has been time tested for decades and decades, almost centuries at this point, almost a century, right? What is time tested? High amounts of chlorophyll clean the blood. High amounts of chlorophyll restructure the blood. High amounts of chlorophyll clean the lymphatic system. High amounts of leafy greens, which have chlorophyll, provide mineral restoration to the body, provide amino acids into the body, which is how you build structure. Someone asked earlier, why is my hair falling out? I would imagine it is because there is something happening here where you do not have absorption, you don't have enough intake, enough absorption, or enough utilization of the structural components of the human body. And in order to build, you need minerals and you need amino acids. Okay? Leafy greens are a key missing food group from most people's diets. Nobody eats enough. Nobody eats the amount that they should. So, it's very challenging to go through a period of time where you're quite low sugar at the Anne Wigmore Institute. It was the only fruits that they allowed were high digestive enzyme fruits, high enzymatic fruits. Papaya and apples were the only 2 fruits that they had at the Anne Wigmore Institute. And when you go through a period of low to no fruit, you are preventing fungus from thriving. You are preventing bad bacteria from thriving. You are preventing yeast from thriving. You're preventing maybe I wouldn't say parasites, but you're preventing these bacterial and fungal organisms from thriving if you have an imbalance, right? This is all if you have an imbalance. It is helpful to go through a period of low to no fruit. The Candida protocol that I'm running someone through right now, it is no fruit for 20 days. Listen, that's an acute period of time. This is, whenever I hop on here, sometimes I talk about general lifestyle changes. Sometimes I talk about acute protocols for a purpose, right? If we're trying to kill this Candida in someone's body, we are going no fruit. It has been a chronic case of Candida for over a year. Crazy amounts of yeast flourishing for over a year. Nothing has helped. Parasitic herbs have not helped. General lifestyle changes have not helped. So now where are we at? We're at in high level acute protocol where we really dial in and we kill, wipe out, refuse to feed these organisms, restructure and soothe the gut lining to seal it up and prevent leaky gut, and then restore the good bacteria of the body with high home fermented foods and probiotics. This is a great question. Candace, I'll answer your question in a second. This is a great question here. Hello, what herb do you suggest for mastitis? My family member is breastfeeding. She developed a breast infection due to bacteria getting into her nipple from a scratch or a bite and from the moisture. A beautiful topical remedy for mastitis are 2 herbs, mullein and lobelia. you are going to make a poultice of mullein and lobelia. Okay, so you can look up how to make a poultice, get those 2 dried herbs. Topically, you're going to make sure they're mashed up, get a little fluid in there, give a little boil with some hot water, soak a clean cloth. Hopefully it's an organic cloth if you can get it. Soak a cloth in this mixture and topically put it on the mastitis. Okay? Lobelia and mullein. Lobelia and mullein. Candace just asked a question. So I need to eat just greens, no fruit. I am not talking in absolutes here. I'm not talking in absolutes. You can absolutely still eat fruit as you are healing the body. That is what I'm emphasizing. But what I'm talking about is most people have never gone through an acute period of time where they are taking away sugar to completely starve out yeast and bacteria. Do you see the difference there? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not a blanket statement of, so I just need to eat greens, no fruit. No blanket statements here. I teach in full context. We have full context, all right? Newly found type 2 diabetic, any insight would help. Absolutely, my friend. If a type 2 diabetic came to me and they were still cooking their food in oil, that would be the highest. Do you hear me emphasizing the word highest? That would be the highest recommendation I would have for you, is to stop cooking your food in oils. Do not saute in oils. No need to bake in oils. Cooked oils aggravate diabetes. Cooked oils present in the bloodstream affect the way that your blood sugar balances out, okay? The human body wants to use sugar as its energy source. We only experience high blood sugar when the body is not able to utilize these sugar sources into your cells. And one of the things that interrupts absorption of sugar that you consume is excess fat in the bloodstream. The way that someone gets excess fat in the bloodstream is cooking with oils, okay? If you want to use a little bit of raw olive oil after you cook your food, that's fine. But this should not be a daily occurrence. Oils should be something that are coming out of your diet. For type 2 diabetes, for fatty liver, for high cholesterol, for high triglycerides, for high blood pressure. Cooked oils is not serving anybody on the healing process. Do you want to know why? It affects the blood. When it affects the blood, it affects the kidneys. It also affects the liver. The reason why it affects the liver is because the liver is responsible for breaking down fat in the body. When there is an abundance of fat in the body and manipulated fat, because cooked oils are manipulated now, right? You don't have the natural raw structure of the oil anymore. You know, you can press out 100 olives and get olive oil. That's already one layer of extracting only the fat, because the olive has enzymes in it. The olive has a natural fiber in it. The olive has these other components that the body wants to use to help absorb that fat, right? These cofactors that are found naturally in that food. Same with avocado. Avocado have cofactors, enzymes, fiber that come with it, along with the fat that you're getting, because that's how the human body wants to absorb it. It needs these cofactors. It wants these cofactors for optimal balance in the body. What happens with olive oil and avocado oil is we've extracted only one element of those food groups, and we only have fat now. It's lacking all of the nutrients it was supposed to come with. It's lacking the fiber that it was supposed to come with. So, and actually, what happens is we have such a small serving of olive oil that has a lot of fat in it, right? Because it takes 100 olives to press out a certain amount of olive oil, right? That 100 olives is going to look like this. That olive oil is going to look like this. And when people consume oils, you are getting excess fat in one serving of oil, minus all the nutrients it should have come from. And then on top of that, you're cooking it. You are manipulating and changing the chemical structure of the naturally occurring fat. And that's what overburdens the body. It will back up in the bloodstream. It will accumulate in the bloodstream. And the liver is overburdened because the liver is responsible for breaking all that excess down and dealing and trying to process with the manipulated fat chemical. It overburdens the liver. And the liver is our number one detoxification organ. It's responsible for all of detoxing these chemicals in the body, right? The liver processes all of that stuff. And because we need the liver to process out all these other things, if it's super focused on your dietary excess fat that you're consuming, you're not focusing on detoxification of all these other things that may be bogging down health. The liver is overburdened to try to break down your food, which is the choice that you put in your mouth, right? That was a long spiel. That was a very long spiel. Do you guys have any questions? I'll scan through the chat in a second and see if there are questions there. Giving a little face massage. You're so welcome, my friend. You see how I only recommended one thing to you as well that will make the world of a difference. Please don't feel... I'm emphasizing that I only recommended one thing. I only suggested one thing, right? One thing can make the world of a difference, especially when that one thing is just oils. I didn't tell you anything about taking out meat. I didn't tell you anything about all of a sudden, eating a ton of leafy greens. I didn't tell you all of a sudden you need to fast or you need to cleanse or you need to this or you need to that. One change. And now, this is me assuming that you're not eating junk, okay? Let me just give a disclaimer. Whenever I talk about these things, right, I am already way past the junk food of America. I am assuming that you are not eating the junk food of America, okay? So any recommendations that I give you, you assume that you are not eating McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Cheetos, chips, soda. Okay? You see what candy? You see what I'm saying? Like, that needs to be a given. When we're here on live, that is check. So let's take it to the next level, because that's basic, right? That's surface level. In order to be healthy, we should all know this American junk food is not it. What was the thing? I just joined. We were just talking about how to support type 2 diabetes. There's a book, if anyone is a reader, there is a book called You Can Heal Diabetes in 21 Days by Gabriel Cousens. Okay. So listen to that, 21 days. I'm not making any claims. I'm just telling you the title of a book. You Can Heal Diabetes in 21 Days by Gabriel Cousens. Type 2 diabetes is easy, okay? Just have faith in that. Type 2 diabetes is easy. Like, once you switch up that lifestyle, you take out those oils and you're eating just natural foods. You said you already took out the junk. If you're eating natural foods, even if there's meat still, oil will make a difference, an abundance of a difference. Taking out oil will make plenty of a difference. Hi, Samari. Quick question. Why do doctors recommend Beano? In parentheses, dietary fibers. Is Beano a supplement that they're using now, which is just a type of fiber? The only reason that doctors are going to be recommending dietary fibers is because they're not teaching you about nutrition. That's the thing. The only reason doctors are going to recommend any supplement to you is because they're not teaching you about nutrition. If they're telling you about BNO, which is dietary fibers, it's because they're not telling you about leafy greens. It's because they're not telling you about Cascara sagrada. It's because they're not telling you about marshmallow root or slippery elm, because they're just not trained on it. They just don't know it, right? And if you guys are not on any pharmaceutical medications, the recommendations or the suggestions that I teach about, the guidance that I just teach about, you have free range. If you are not on pharmaceutical medications, you are free range for anything here. I tell my parents this all the time. Both of my parents, neither of them on medications. Both of them almost 60, neither on medications for anything. Nothing, right? And whenever I freely need to recommend them anything, I have no problem. I'm working on a clean slate. I'm not worried about contra interactions. I'm not worried about interactions at all. And I'm lucky that, I can recommend freely to them. Same with my brother, freely recommending what I need to recommend without worries. Yeah, you are welcome. Yeah, the answer is quite simple. The answer is quite simple. And I know it maybe doesn't feel simple when you're going through things. My body, I need to find better recommendations. Yeah, doctors just aren't going to do it. Doctors won't do it. They just simply do not know the ins and outs of how food and herbs physiologically support the body, right? They are trained on how pharmaceuticals physiologically support the body. I shouldn't even say support, I should say affect the body. They do not have extensive education on nutritional biochemistry. They do not have education on herbal biochemistry. I'm not saying that I'm at a place where I have extensive education on herbal biochemistry. That is my next desire of place to go. However, I know enough about the mechanism of actions of how herbs work in the body, and I definitely know how food works in the body. To tell you that they just, the only reason they're recommending one thing is because they don't know about the medicine of the earth. They know about the medicine of man. What's the best foods to rid pesticides out of your body? What's up? Wow, King Pippi. What a throwback. Shout out to college. Same with you, Samari. Shout out to college. Okay. So, pesticides in the body, naturally, cilantro is a good one. Chlorella is a good one. If you can start making a smoothie every morning, there's a smoothie actually that I really do like from Medical Medium, his heavy metal detox smoothie. I am a fan of that formula. There is chlorella mixed with cilantro, mixed with banana, mixed with blueberries, and mixed with spirulina. It's a really, really dark smoothie, and sea moss in it too. I like that one. I did a cleanse 4 months straight with that heavy metal detox smoothie in the morning. Every day for 4 months straight. And I purged black out of my tongue. I started to sweat black sweat. I'm not going to say that the heavy metal detox smoothie is the only thing that did that, because that was a period of cleansing where I was on celery juice and high juicing and saunas all the time and enemas all the time. There was a lot happening at that time, but I will say, knowing that cilantro and chlorella are natural binders, natural binders for pulling chemicals and heavy metals out of the body, that will be supportive. In addition to that, I don't know if you desire to get a formula. There's a formula by Purium, the company that I put all clients on, the best formulations that we've seen for superfoods and supplementation. They have a formula called Biomedic. Biomedic has been the only herbal formula that reduces glyphosate, which is the major pesticide that is accumulating in our body. That's the one that's used in abundance. Reduces glyphosate within, I'm pretty sure it's within 6 days or 7 days. Maybe. I don't have that. Don't quote me on that time span. But they're the only ones that are removing glyphosate from the human body at the rate that they are. So if you do want a formula for cleansing pesticides, you can DM me if you want to. So sorry, my phone is on 20%. You can go to ishoppurium.com, look up Biome Medic, BIOME space medic, and you can use the code DetoxTori always, okay? Now, I would recommend, if you've never done any sort of gut cleansing or restoration, I would recommend like a 3-month stint on Biomedic. So 3 packs, each pack lasts you a month. I would recommend a 3-month stint of it to really clear out chemicals, pesticides. And I would introduce that chlorella and cilantro as a regular part of a smoothie. That's how I would do it as my first, the first round, if I were to recommend someone who's never done anything like that before. That's what I would do. What's the best thing to help with lupus? Restore the environment of the body. Restore the environment of the body. The best thing to help with lupus is take out junk, take out oils, take out synthetic supplements, introduce more leafy greens, introduce fruits, introduce hydration, introduce movement, introduce prayer, introduce rest, and then from there, you have kidney supporting herbs, you have lymphatic supporting herbs, you have liver supporting herbs, you have blood supporting herbs. Okay? Now, if you have introduced movement, took out oils, took out mucus-forming foods, took out junk, took out dairy, took out gluten, rest, prayer, at this point, you should not be constipated. Okay? If you are constipated and you have an autoimmune disease, the number one thing you need to do is work on the constipation. In order to work on the constipation, you need to move your body, stretch your body, massage your belly, castor oil massage your belly, castor oil packs, leafy greens, enough hydration, rest, touch your stomach, show it some love, stop ignoring it. Stop ignoring it. If it's painful, it wants you to touch it. If it's painful, it wants you to care for it. If it's backed up, it wants you to touch it. If it's bloated, it wants you to massage it. If it hurts, it wants you to touch it more. It's like a kid screaming out in pain. It wants a hug, right? Same thing with injuries. Like, actually, this scar is intense. I've been ignoring it. I've been ignoring this scar. It hurts when I touch it. It's very hard for me to do a push-up. I have to do a push-up like on my fist like this because this bending of my wrist is really sensitive. And I know the only way for this not to hurt anymore and for this not to feel uncomfortable and for this not to feel weak is to not ignore it, massage it, get circulation to it, use castor oil on it to break down the scar, use salve on it to break down the scar, do the push-ups that are going to strengthen my wrist again after it was sliced open. If I ignore it, it will continue to get weaker. I just lay there until it stops hurting, LOL. Lay there and touch it. Lay there and lay hands on it. Lay hands on it. Because you want circulation. You want blood flow. Funny, I fell like 2 months ago and hurt my knee and it was still hurting and tender. Went to yoga last weekend and thought I'd die, and the next morning, no more tingles. Look at that. You push through the pain with the movement. You push through. Because the only way to get to the other side is go through it. Can't turn around and ignore it. For any symptom, the only way is to move through it. And sometimes the body needs support. Sometimes it can't work itself out, right? Oh my goodness, what are all these capital letters? What can I do for reoccurrence UTI? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to start with the foundations of, are you drinking enough water? Living water, spring water, distilled water, coconut water. Are you avoiding junk? Are you still eating high amounts of meat and animal product? Are you still eating dairy? Are you still eating grains? Grains are very aggravating to UTIs. Rice aggravates UTIs. Bread aggravates UTIs. Pasta aggravates UTIs. If you want a lentil pasta, cool. If you want a chickpea pasta, cool. Did you remove all those things? High hydration. Herbs that will help. Bushu, uva ursi, nettle, red clover, thyme, oregano, rosemary, garlic, Oregon grapefruit. You could do cranberry if you have a pure cranberry. You could do pure D-mannose. Herbal antibiotic formula, just a blended concoction of high antibacterial herbs. Yes, this live will be saved, of course. What are the best forms of movement with this lifestyle? Anything you want to do. This lifestyle is about teaching you that ultimately healing is doing what's serving your body. Okay? Healing is doing what's serving your body. Because sometimes someone who might be overweight, oregano and clove. Yes, clove. That's a great one. Yes. Add that to the list. Oregano and clove. That's a good one. Some people, right? Some people who are overweight, a water fast may serve their highest good of healing. Someone who's naturally thinner, or someone who is in a state of depletion, maybe they're losing their hair, maybe they're experiencing some level of teeth breakdown. If that's happening, then a water fast isn't going to serve them. Right? Nourishment is going to serve them. I took a breather to look at the clouds. Also, whenever I go live, honestly, whenever I go live or whenever I have one-on-one sessions, just know in the background I am sweating profusely from my feet. Just know that. Advice on removing a tumor for the body. Every single thing that I just said in this live applies to you. Tumors are the response of an acidic environment of the body. Tumors are a response of a high parasitic load. Sarah, I literally miss you. I literally love you. Shout out Sarah, George, and Rebecca. Literally the best. How do you say if you're from Brazil? If you're from Brazil, Brazilians. But I want to say it in Spanish, like Brasilianas, Brasilianos. Anyways. Tumors are a response from high parasitic load in the body and accumulation of waste. Okay? Can EBV be eliminated from the body or just managed? Brasileños. Oh, that sounds even sexier. Brasileños. I like that. My friend who asked about EVB, I feel like I'm supposed to be more careful with what I say sometimes. So you're asking me if it can be eliminated from the body or just managed. My answer to you, it can be way more than just managed. You can reduce, you can, do you know what I'm trying to say? You already know what I'm trying to say. You can infer what I'm trying to say. You can do way more than just manage. You can do way more than just manage viruses. Any viruses. You can do way more than just manage. Okay? Quick disclaimer. This is not medical advice. None of this is medical advice. I am not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I have not gone to med school. I went to pre-med. I was ready to go to med school. I am not a doctor. I am not a state licensed practitioner. I'm not a state licensed healthcare practitioner. I'm a natural health practitioner. I work independently with clients one-on-one. I do not diagnose, treat, cure, or claim to prevent disease. I simply guide, recommend, provide support, make suggestions that I believe will serve your healing and highest good. Thank God. Right. Right. Thank God. What helps with a prolapsed bladder? Move your body. Massage your abdomen. Castor oil packs on your abdomen. High amounts of amino acids from leafy greens and minerals. If you want to get more amino acids in your diet because you're dealing with a prolapse or like a hernia, you can use the Super Amino 23 by Purium. I shop Purium.com, code DetoxTori. I'm sure many of you guys have ordered from Purium at this point. I don't recommend everything from them. I don't use everything from them at all. There are specific formulations that they have that are beneficial for the types of clients and the types of conditions that you guys come to me with. High amounts of minerals, spirulina, wheatgrass, leafy greens, seed milks, nut milks, minerals, amino acid, castor oil packs, massages, movement. Any insight on fibroids? Oh yeah, we talked all about fibroids in the beginning of this. You need to make sure you clear the colon. Clear the colon and cleanse the colon. You got to clear the intestines in order to get rid of fibroids, because fibroids are a reaction from accumulated waste. Accumulated waste, and the body is growing excess tissue in response to this accumulation of waste. The body will only grow excess of anything because it's trying to compensate for some imbalance somewhere, right? Or glands that are hyper secreting. That's because it's trying to compensate for some imbalance somewhere or some improper function somewhere. Okay? So there's kind of There's kind of a difference when you're looking at something that is hyper or excess, right? We have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, tumor is excess tissue, cysts are excess tissue, fibroids are excess tissue, hyperthyroid, okay? All of those things are excess. The body is working harder or doing something in excess to try to offset or compensate something that's not working correctly, okay? High cholesterol, that is when the body, the liver produces cholesterol, okay? High cholesterol is not directly from cholesterol from your egg yolk. The way that cholesterol accumulates in the body, I'm going to take a side note. My friend who asked about prostate issues, same thing with fibroids. Fibroids and PCOS in women is the equivalent to prostate issues in men. Make sure you cleanse the colon. Cleanse the colon and clean the colon, okay? Seal up the gut lining. We need to restore from leaky gut. Seal the gut lining. I don't know if any of you guys, I feel like a lot of names here might be new. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of the training resources that I have for you. There's my bio, the link in my bio, you will see the healing blueprint. The healing blueprint is the protocol that I've put hundreds of clients on over the last 2 years. I was offering that protocol in a community setting where people were paying me a membership every month to have access to that. I got rid of the membership and charging people monthly, and I put it into a one-time course. So you have access to all of the information from that membership community that I shut down. I put it all together. One time, deliver you the information, take it and run, you know? So the healing blueprint has literally me talking through, writing through, video course instructions in order on most of everything of what I'm saying here. Or maybe on this live I'm going a lot into like the root cause of specific conditions, but the answers and the therapeutic protocols, the therapeutic remedies, all of those are within the healing blueprint. So link in my bio, that resource is there for you, okay? Now, what was I just talking about before the side note of prostate and fibroids? What was I just talking about? I was talking about something. Oh, hyper, yes. Okay, so when the body's creating anything in excess, all right? High cholesterol, for example, that's where we were at. The liver produces the cholesterol in your body. Hi, for those of us who were in the membership, is there a way to get the blueprint course, or we get to purchase it? If you were in the blueprint, if you were in the membership, at the end, when I closed it, you have full access for free to that. If you were in the membership randomly at one point in time and you popped in and out or whatever, I have no way. I gave this course completely for free to everybody who was in my membership. I had the whole list of emails. I emailed it out to everyone who would have gotten it for free because they have paid many, many months, right? So that's the deal with that. Like I said, I'm not sure your situation particularly. You can message me, of course, but that was the deal. I don't know if anyone missed an email, anyone who was in my Blueprint membership, if you missed an email, there's the update for you. I sent an email out to everybody who was with me for several months and all the way up until the end of closing it. I was in for 6 to 7 months and then canceled. Okay, just message me, for sure. Just message me and check your emails too, yes. And PSA for anybody who may have missed an email from me. That course that you had access to for many, many months in the Blueprint, you have a link directly to it, okay? Versus people who have never, been a part of my network yet. Just go to the link in my bio because I don't have the community anymore. I don't have a membership vibe anymore. Okay, so the body produces cholesterol itself, the liver produces cholesterol itself, in response to an acidic environment of the body, because cholesterol is an alkaline molecule. So the body is going to secrete excess cholesterol. It's alkaline to try to balance out the acidic environment of the body. So you see how that excess is trying to compensate and rebalance for this acidic environment of the body, right? That's excess. Now, hyperthyroid. Hyperthyroid is also a condition of excess. Hyper. The thyroid is secreting too much hormone, okay? The reason why the thyroid is going to hypersecrete is because the thing that tells the thyroid what to do is the pituitary gland. That pituitary gland is in our brain. If anyone has ever heard of the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is the master gland of the body. It signals the thyroid what to do, it signals the adrenal gland what to do, and it signals our reproductive glands what to do. In men, it tells the testes to secrete testosterone. In women, it tells the ovaries to secrete estrogen and progesterone. Okay? Now, when the pituitary gland, for some reason, is not secreting enough of the correct trigger for the thyroid is not getting enough of a signal from the pituitary to tell it what to do at the correct level, it's just going to hypersecrete. Hyper, okay? It's just going to be like, okay, I'm not being told what to do, but I know I'm supposed to do this, so let me just do it and do it and do it and do it to be safe, okay? Because it's not getting a signal from the pituitary to bring it back into balance, right? Same thing goes with hypothyroid. If the pituitary gland is not giving enough of a signal, you may have low thyroid levels. But the issue is not the thyroid, the issue is the pituitary. Same hyperthyroid too. The pituitary may be out of balance, where it's hyper, for some reason it's off balance, and it's hyper secreting these triggers to the thyroid. That keeps the thyroid hyper triggered, right? When you look at hormone panels, you really, really can start to see the relationships of glands in the body, because you can have low pituitary levels, high thyroid levels. You can have high pituitary levels, low thyroid levels. You can have high pituitary levels, high thyroid levels. Like, you can have a weird conglomeration of these different triggers and reactions and the levels that happen in response to that. So therefore, we can really see how the glands are interacting with each other based on specifically which hormones are high, which hormones are low. And that's if you get testing done. I never tell people to get testing. You don't need to get testing. We're able to definitely tell what's wrong in your body just by looking at you, right? Face, eyes, nails, teeth, feet, legs, body structure, any symptoms that you have, and your health history, like all of that gives a perfect blueprint to what imbalances are in the body. If you happen to have testing, it just gives an added layer of validation to what you're experiencing and what we're able to see on the outside. Is it possible for the body to be acidic when you live a plant-based lifestyle? Well, I'm not sure what type of plant-based lifestyle you're referring to, first of all. But like, the body will always fluctuate, right? The body naturally isn't like super, super alkaline. It's only slightly alkaline, okay? So if we have a pH scale, it goes from 0 pH to 14 pH. The exact middle is 7 pH. In general, the human body, the blood of the human body is 7.4 pH. That's like literally slightly alkaline, slightly beyond neutral. We're not into 8 pH. We're not into 9 pH. We're nowhere near 14 pH, right? Slightly alkaline, very close to neutral, very close to acidic, right? So I would say it depends if the body is showing if the body is still showing symptoms and you have been on a journey of plant-based living, then there's something left to remedy here, right? There's some sort of cleansing and restoration of alkalinity or restoration of minerals, right? So I'd have to know more. I'd have to know more to see what type of plant-based lifestyle you've been living and what symptoms you may have left. I always say, like, there's a difference between healthy and healing. There's a difference between those two things. There's a difference between healthy and healing. You can get healthier. You can start becoming healthier. You can change your diet and become healthier. But there's also a level of help that at this point in modern day society, our body needs help to kick its cleansing into gear. Our liver needs help sometimes. Our kidneys need help sometimes. Our lymph needs help sometimes. Our lymph needs help sometimes. Especially because in this day and age, all of these organ systems are stagnant, blocked, accumulated, constipated. Like, it needs some help, right? No meat or byproducts, mostly fruit, vegetables, legumes, and grains. If you have a tumor and you are living a lifestyle that you would agree is in line with a healing lifestyle, I would probably take out grains unless they are purely alkaline grains. Millet, teff, amaranth. I would take out rice. I would even take out quinoa if you're dealing with tumors. Parasitic action. I would address parasitic action. I would address fungal load. I would address bacterial load. If you're on a plant-based lifestyle, there may be a level of kicking into cleansing that has to happen that's not quite there yet. And also the tumor could be spiritual or emotional, right? Could be a whole other level. Probably is a whole other level, right? When we hit a glass ceiling, if we've done all the cleansing and all the things and we've hit a glass ceiling of what we would expect our body to heal through, then it is emotional. It is something higher. Stress. 100%. What diet do you recommend? Would you agree with animal protein being acidic to the body? And what diet do you recommend? I would agree with animal protein being acidic to the body, but that is not always a bad thing. Okay? In the course, the healing blueprint that I talked about, there is a complete detox diet laid out for you there. Many of the captions of my reels have the complete detox diet laid out for you there. Fruit, vegetables, leafy greens, seed milks, nut milks, smoothies, blended soups, juices, lentils, sprouts, broth, herbs, sea moss, spirulina, wheatgrass, other superfoods. So meat, meat is acidic to the body, but that's not always a bad thing. If you are dealing with chronic disease and you have never gone through a period of no meat, you need to do that. Actually, I'm just making suggestions. I suggest you do that. If you have a chronic condition in your body or chronic symptoms in your body and you have never gone through a period of no meat, I suggest you try it out. Okay? There is a level of cleansing that the body cannot reach when you are consuming animal product regularly. Now, me, in my life, I have been through many years of cleansing. You guys saw what my face used to look like in my old posts. I also cannot believe. So I was going through my whole Instagram, just like, you know, taking out posts that were just junk and stuff. And I was like, oh, I really used to show up on the internet with my face just looking like that. I really used to try to teach about the body with my face fully looking like that. I had full faith and understanding that what I do would eventually work and had no shame. I was like, okay, girl, you're just showing up. Literally. So for me, I've gone through many rounds of cleansing, many years of cleansing. That's why my skin used to look like it did, and now it looks like this, right? Now, my skin, can you see it? This is what it looks like now. This is just scarring left, one blemish right there. But this is all scarring, unfortunately. But the scarring doesn't get me too mad. Kind of looks like freckles. So, this used to be an entire face worth of cystic acne. And now it's like this. I can touch my face no problem. I don't have to change my pillowcase every single day. I don't use any sort of products on my face other than Castile soap and my favorite essential oil blend sometimes. That's it. That's literally it. And I used to be like, cleanser in the shower, toner, moisturizer, serum, other moisturizer, face mask, peel. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And now it's Castile soap, water, jojoba oil, and an essential oil blend. Like, what? What? As a guy, I'm glad I never felt the need to play into that. Yeah, facts. Men do not fall to the aesthetics industry. They really don't. There is a whole industry. Serums and eye serums and cheek serums and forehead serums and... But anyways, I say that to say, during that whole period of time where I had full-blown acne, I was not eating animal product. I tried to heal the acne. I tried to cleanse the crazy pharmaceutical medications that triggered the acne. I tried to cleanse that or heal from that on a organic animal product high plant diet. It didn't work. I was also cooking with avocado oil and olive oil. I took out all seed oils. I took out all processed food. I took out all inorganic food. My diet was animal product, sauteing with olive oil, avocado oil, supposed to be the better oils, quinoa, salads, fruits, smoothies. That's what I ate. Did the acne clear? Nope. The acne was triggered every time. Every time I had a meal with fish in it, chicken in it, eggs in it, triggered, every single time. So there's a level of cleansing that the body can't hit when you eat animal. I would say that I was eating healthy, and I switched to a healthy diet at that point, but it wasn't serving my full healing. It wasn't getting to the root cause of healing. I was just eating healthier, which is perfect, which is amazing, which is the essential first step. But we didn't cross into the bounds of healing, which is when you're clearing waste out of the body. You're clearing chemicals out of the body. You're not putting things in the body that are causing oxidative stress or overburden to the systems. Been working on EBV for years through vegan, alkaline, Sebi, cleansing, fasting. I'm missing something. Any suggestions for helping it deeper? Just a super top secret about viruses. If viruses are not clearing and you're doing all the things, it is probably emotional. Viruses are so emotional. I can tell you firsthand, viruses are almost purely emotional when you're at the point of doing all the things. If you feel confident, right? You know, maybe there is a couple things left that you haven't tried. Like I would say to you, I was like, okay, have we done liver flushing? Is there any sort of parasite cleansing? Is there any sort of like mucoid plaque removal? Is there any sort of like on a physical level? Have you done any sort of like, liver flushing, liver cleansing, heavy metal removing? If you have, of course, I don't know anything about you. If you have, then viruses, write this down or take a note of it. Viruses are usually emotional when you get to that point, because there's something around the reason you got the virus, the circumstances you got the virus, the specific virus that you got, the specific organ that it's affecting, right? EBV and the liver are very closely connected. All right, y'all. I'm only on 4% battery. We've talked about a lot today. I am going to go eat a snack and hydrate. And link in my bio for all the resources. I've just updated every single thing. I've updated everything. Anything that you've got from me before is now new and or updated. So, link in my bio is there for you. If you have questions, my DMs are open. I'm trying to get on a schedule where I answer messages in my DMs a certain chunk of time. I have not been able to do that because it just gets a little intense. It just gets a little overwhelming. So I'm trying. You can always message me. If you want to talk to me, I have 2 types of sessions too. If you don't want to do a full-blown health assessment session, we can just chat for an hour. I have a session called Ask Me Anything. And it's literally casual conversation. We don't have to do a whole thing. If you need general suggestions, if you want to just like troubleshoot, have general touch points, if you've been like doing a course or listening to content and you just want to like get some clarification on stuff, we don't have to commit to a whole situation. So 2 types of sessions there for you. The healing blueprint is there for you with everything I've said here, plus more. Today we talked about diabetes. We talked about fibroids, prostate, tumors, alkalinity, yeast. Oh, we talked about yeast. We talked about candida. We talked about fermented foods. We talked about restoring the gut microbiome. We talked about leaky gut and restoring leaky gut. We talked about UTIs. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I'm out. Thank you so much. This will be saved to my page. And smell the flowers. All right. Peace.